Let me ask you something. If I told you that right now, sitting in your kitchen, there are foods that could be quietly working to protect you from cancer, would you want to know what they are? Because that's exactly what we're talking about today. Not some expensive supplement, not some fad diet you saw on television at 3 in the morning. Just real food, the kind your grandmother probably had in her pantry, that science now says can help your body fight back against one of the scariest words in the English language. And here's something important before we even start. Cancer doesn't happen overnight. It builds up slowly, over years, sometimes decades, through damage to our cells that accumulates little by little. Which means the choices you make at the dinner table today are not just about tonight's meal. They're about the years ahead. Let's start with something you probably have in your fridge right now. Blueberries. These little purple gems are absolutely loaded with antioxidants, and one type in particular, called anthocyanins, has been studied for its ability to slow down the growth of cancer cells. Doctors have started calling berries like blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries nature's tiny warriors. And the best part? You don't need much. A handful a day on your morning oatmeal or yogurt is enough to start making a difference. If fresh berries aren't available where you live, frozen ones work just as well, sometimes even better, because they're picked and frozen at peak ripeness. Now, let's talk about something you might not expect. Broccoli. I know, some of you are groaning right now because your mother forced you to eat it as a kid. But stick with me here. Broccoli contains a compound called sulforaphane, and researchers have found that this compound can actually help your body eliminate cancer-causing substances before they have a chance to do damage. Steam it lightly, don't boil the life out of it, and it becomes not just tolerable, but genuinely delicious with a little olive oil and garlic. And here's a little tip. Broccoli sprouts, the tiny young version of the plant, actually contain even more sulforaphane than the fully grown vegetable. So if you ever see them at your local market, don't walk past them. Speaking of garlic, that's number 3 on our list. This humble little bulb has been used for thousands of years, not just for flavor, but for healing. Garlic contains allicin, a compound that studies suggest may help slow tumor growth and boost the immune system. Civilizations going back to ancient Egypt believed in the power of garlic, and modern science is finally catching up to what grandmothers always knew. Crush it, let it sit for a few minutes before cooking, and you actually increase the release of its beneficial compounds. Next, let's talk about tomatoes. Juicy, red, and absolutely packed with something called lycopene. Lycopene is what gives tomatoes their color, and it's been linked in multiple studies to a reduced risk of certain cancers, especially prostate cancer. Here's a little secret though. Cooking tomatoes, like in a sauce or a soup, actually increases the amount of lycopene your body can absorb. So, that Sunday spaghetti sauce isn't just comfort food. It might be doing your body some real good. Pair it with a little olive oil too, since lycopene is fat-soluble, meaning your body absorbs it better when there's healthy fat alongside it. Now, here's one that might surprise you. Fatty fish. Salmon, mackerel, sardines. These are swimming with omega-3 fatty acids, which have anti-inflammatory properties. And here's why that matters. Chronic inflammation in the body has been linked to the development of cancer over time. So when you eat fish 2 or 3 times a week, you're not just doing your heart a favor. You're helping calm down inflammation that could otherwise cause problems down the road. And if fresh fish feels like too much of a hassle, canned salmon or sardines are just as nutritious and take seconds to prepare. Let's move to something green and leafy. Spinach and kale. These dark leafy greens are bursting with vitamins A, C, and K, plus folate, and they contain carotenoids that have been shown in research to help protect your cells from damage. Toss a handful into a smoothie or saute it with a little olive oil and lemon. It's simple, It's fast, and it's one of the easiest ways to add real protection to your daily meals. And don't worry if chewing greens feels tiring some days. A soft cooked spinach soup can give you the same benefits in a gentler form. Now, number 7 might be sitting in your spice cabinet right now, collecting dust. Turmeric. This golden spice contains curcumin, and curcumin has been the subject of hundreds of scientific studies looking at its potential to fight inflammation and even interfere with the growth of cancer cells. A warm cup of turmeric tea in the evening or a sprinkle in your soup could be one of the simplest additions you make this year. One thing worth knowing, curcumin is absorbed much better when paired with black pepper, so a small pinch alongside your turmeric can make a real difference. Let's talk about nuts. Walnuts, specifically. These aren't just a tasty snack. They're rich in polyphenols and omega-3 fatty acids that researchers believe may help slow the progression of certain cancers, particularly breast and prostate cancer. Just a small handful a day, about the size of your palm, is all you need. No need to overdo it. They're also wonderfully easy to carry with you, in your bag, your car, or your coat pocket, so a healthy snack is always within reach. Number 9 is something so simple, you might overlook it. Beans and legumes. Black beans, lentils, chickpeas. These are packed with fiber. And here's why fiber matters so much for cancer prevention, especially colon cancer. Fiber helps move waste through your digestive system efficiently, reducing the amount of time harmful substances spend in contact with your intestinal walls. Add a cup of lentil soup to your week, or toss chickpeas into a salad, and you're giving your gut some serious backup. And if beans have ever given you digestive discomfort in the past, soaking them overnight before cooking can make them much gentler on your system. And finally, number 10, and this one might be the most enjoyable of all, green tea. This ancient drink contains a compound called EGCG, which stands for epigallocatechin gallate. And don't worry, you don't need to remember that name. What you need to remember is that this compound has been studied extensively for its ability to reduce oxidative stress in the body, which over time can contribute to cell damage and cancer development. Swap your afternoon coffee for a warm cup of green tea just a few times a week, and you're giving your body a gentle, steady form of protection. And if the taste feels too bitter at first, a small slice of lemon or a touch of honey can make it much more enjoyable without taking away its benefits. Now here's what I want you to take away from all of this. None of these foods are a magic cure. There is no single food that will guarantee you never face cancer. But what science has shown us, again and again, is that the foods we choose to put on our plate every single day can either work for us or work against us. And the beautiful thing is, these 10 foods, blueberries, broccoli, garlic, tomatoes, fatty fish, leafy greens, turmeric, walnuts, beans, and green tea. They're not expensive, they're not hard to find, and they're not complicated to prepare. You don't need to change your entire life overnight. Start small. Maybe this week, you add blueberries to your breakfast. Next week, you try a cup of green tea in the afternoon. Little by little, these small changes add up to something powerful, something that could genuinely make a difference in how your body defends itself for years to come. Think of it less like a diet and more like building a quiet, steady shield, one meal at a time. So here's my question for you. Which of these 10 foods are you already eating, and which one are you going to add to your plate this week? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one of them. And if this video gave you something valuable today, do me a favor and share it with someone you love, because everyone deserves to know this information. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.